What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's new episode. Now, I have the hidden secret to getting good at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, it's not a Danaher instructional. It's not a hidden move. It's not even a supplement to enhance your Jiu-Jitsu skills. It's not. It's none of those things. It's having a brother or sister, a sibling. Let's call it a sibling. Having a sibling is a secret cheat code to improving your jiu-jitsu. Now, in today's video, I'm going to explain different sets of brothers and explain how they were able to get so good. First example, Cade and Ty Rutolo. They were training jiu-jitsu right out of the womb, bro. Since they were the age of 3, before they even could say the word jiu-jitsu, they were in a gi, they were training, they were competing, and the rest is history. Cade and Ty are one of the most accomplished competitors that we have to date, and they're only like 20 years old or 21 years old. I don't even know how old these guys are, but they've been training at a young age. Now, what has made them so good? They have been their main training partner since they freaking got here, bro. Since they got to the motherland, these guys have been scrapping. They have a different type of relationship than you would think. These guys are super peaceful. They're surfing. They're having a good time. But on the mats, they're kind of scary, bro. They are scary. I'm not gonna lie. They're terrifying. These guys don't stop moving. They're relentless. They just keep a pace that really we haven't seen from anybody else. No one could really keep up with these guys. Now, what makes these guys so good, you ask, is that these guys are their biggest rivals.
Who's better, you or your brother at jiu-jitsu?
At jiu-jitsu, we've been answering this question so many years on end, and we always go back and forth. But I feel like I could honestly, now that I'm kind of going to the MMA realm, I could honestly say that it might be 60-40, my brother. I mean, there's no one in the world that's harder to fight for me than my brother. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys grew up together.
Yep.
You guys know each other's game throughout.
The only person tougher than me in this bracket is my brother. He got injured in that first round of his last fight, and that wasn't even close to his potential. But I knew for a fact the only person that could really put me out in this division was my brother. So it was epic.
And we could see in their documentaries, we could see in their relationship with each other. Yeah, now they're going into MMA. Now I don't know how safe that relationship could be now, since they're actually throwing punches and stuff. But with jiu-jitsu, it is absolutely perfect to be able to improve each other into becoming the best that they possibly can be. And that's something that I truly admire. And I feel like it is something similar within all these relationships that we're going to talk about in this video. These guys know each other like the back of their hand, and that's why they're able to get so good, is because there is an open and honest relationship, because there is no room for anything else. They have to be better, more technical, and it seems like there's always room for improvement. Now, with the Miao brothers, Paulo and Joao, they have a similar story, but their dynamic is a little different. Coming out of Brazil, living inside of the gym, training hours and hours and hours inside of the gym. Their personalities are different, but the drive is still there. They want to be able to create the best possible environment for them to be successful. Maybe they're not as confrontational as Cade and Ty.
Ooh, who's your daddy?
Oh shit. Tap. I'm your daddy. We in a little bit.
After that pop.
Time.
I killed you.
Film the blood. I made it bleed. You would have died. You would have died in my buggy truck.
Jiu-jitsu could be the ultimate training ground to understanding who your brother really is. You get instant feedback. They know exactly what you're thinking, how you're thinking it, when you're thinking it, maybe even before you know it. And it really shows how deep the relationship and emotional connection is involved in having someone who's doing the same type of thing as you and also driving you to become the best version of themselves. There's always room for learning. There's always room for understanding technique. If your brother submits you, hits you with the dart side of nowhere, you're going to be like, all right, bro, where'd you learn that? How'd you even know that you were going to do that? And it just stings just enough to make you think like, okay, next time that's not going to happen. And then it's a constant innovation, constant back and forth. It's Nike and Adidas. it's Coca-Cola and Pepsi. You know what I mean? I feel like competition definitely drives you to become better than you once were. It's not really against you're going against him, is you're going against yourself because you were defeated and you can no longer be that version that was defeated, if that makes sense.
Oh, there's K's. Guess who I beat in the final for this trophy? This guy. This was definitely my favorite win because I beat him, you know?
I was pissed.
You was pissed. I feel like if we make it to like a final in the division or something, I feel like there's no one in the world that I would like want to beat more. You know what I mean? Because if it's equal, like now we're in the final, you know, it's one of us has to win. So it's a win-win, right? So
it's really truly like who's better.
exactly.
And that's been like the whole thing our whole lives. Like that's I think contributed to a lot of like why we've gotten better is like we will never let each other be better than each other for like a day. Like if you submit me one day or 2 days in a row, then the third day I'm coming in so hot, you know, protein, pre-workout, you know, like stretching the whole, you know, like I can't let that happen, you know, and same for him, you know, so.
Indy, let's go.
That competitive drive makes you a better competitor. It makes you a better person who is willing to undergo some stress, undergo through some adversity, and come out a better person. Now, do you think these guys can be able to win these championships without their brother? I think it would be a lot more difficult. You know, I'm not saying these guys aren't talented, but with all that training, with all that dedication, there's an extra special sauce that we don't get to see. Now, these guys aren't the only twins that train jiu-jitsu. We have the Mendes brothers. There's so many brothers, and there's like an elephant in the room. It's like, why are they so good? So you get to learn the similarities and the differences within the two that you didn't even know that were there, and that jiu-jitsu is able to kind of bring out of you guys, because there is like an intense desire to compete. You know, you don't want, you know, to fall a step behind. You want to be able to be on top of things, dot your T's, cross your T's, dot your I's type of stuff. And just there's something special about it. We could even talk about the Gracie family for a little bit. Think about it. Elio Gracie had like 9 kids, all of them, you know, in pretty much like a samurai clan, and being born into this place where you have to, you know, train, you have to compete, you have these people trying to choke you out, put you in triangles, arm bars, omoplatas, guillotines. It's something that it can't really be explained unless you really do it, unless you are really engaged into it. Jiu-jitsu can be very aggressive. It could be very uncomfortable. I feel like jiu-jitsu is really removes a lot of layers behind the human mind. There's nothing really lost in translation. There's some things that, you know, you could just feel and understand. And when I'm training with my brother, I'm able to, like, you know, be 100% myself. Feel like learning along with one of your best friends, a person that's always by your side. There's just a winning formula. There's no other way around it. The results are there. As we could see with the Gracie family and all these brothers who also train jiu-jitsu, and even Mikey Musumeci and his sister Tammy, they're training hours and hours and hours and hours, and there's just something that you really can't do. You can't grab Joe from, you know, 6 p.m. class and just train with him for 6 hours a day and talk about training over dinner, and then, you know, hop on FaceTime and talk about like the triangle escape that you've been trying to work on for a few weeks. I feel like training safety is so important when it comes to being able to push yourself to almost exhaustion, and knowing at the end of the day that this guy is not gonna, you know, break your arm or tear your knee apart just because, you know, he's having a bad day. There's no reason for that. And I feel like having someone who's there by your side is just perfect for a good training environment. And I feel like a training environment is huge. You know, having someone who's able to push you to your limits, know you inside and out, is able to bring the best parts of you, hopefully, bring the best parts of you out, and in order to push yourself. And it's kind of like that Rocky and Apollo Creed type of vibe. It's like, you know, sometimes you may fight, sometimes, you know, you really want to win, you want to be able to be the one who's better. At the end of the day, no one else is going to push you like that person. I've been watching Ippo as well. I've been watching a couple other things where they have brothers or they have good friends, and you're able to understand deeper parts about yourself that you really didn't know until you start training with them, or, you know, you start having deeper conversations, that you guys are a lot more similar than you guys think. And there's so many other things that that affect training, your emotional state, how you slept, how's your diet. Those things, play a role. And your brothers or anybody who you're training with, if they're doing similar things to you, you really get to understand and kind of test things out. Like you kind of start becoming like a scientist in Dexter's laboratory to understand like the little nuances of things and what makes things effective. And you really get to go down to the finest details and really understand what things are. I actually had this idea to make this video just because I'm like, man, training with your brother, it really is like a cheat code. There's no other way around it. It's like when you're breaking down technique, or maybe I understood this way, and you're able to have that dialogue without each other. Honestly, I don't think they would be able to compete at such a high level. There's so much hours and hours and hours and hours that were put on the mat, so much hard work and dedication that is really shown in the way that they perform at such a high level. It doesn't matter if they're getting their knee popped. Actually, Ty and Paulo fought, and you could really see how much they really care for the sport. Ty had this insane knee bar, like insane. It actually had Paulo's knee completely bent the other way, the way that is totally not supposed to go. And he didn't even tap. Like he just kept it rolling. He's like, all right, might as well. Like this is already kind of messed up here. So, these guys are relentless, and that drive, that passion, it comes out not only when they're going against, a rival in the sport, but also in the training room where they're trying to, become the best version that they possibly can. So it doesn't matter if you guys are twins, you guys are different, even if you guys aren't even brothers, your siblings, or if you have a friend who trains in the sport, grab them, ask them if they want to go train, and just freaking get after it, bro. There's only a limited amount of time that we're here on this planet. Might as well have a good time, train, have a good, respectful way of doing so, and just have fun. There's no certain way to do everything. Not everything has to be done by the rule book, but I feel like that is something that is not talked about enough. The Mendes brothers as well, able to develop even a gym of the art of like the art of jiu-jitsu. It really stands out of how these guys, think about their crafts. It's not just something that they do on the side. They dedicate everything that they have, every ounce of their being, into the sport, and I feel like that's what makes jiu-jitsu special, and that's why I wanted to talk about it in today's video. Now, if you guys want more videos like this, or more in-depth breakdown of each brother, we could do one on the Miao Bros, we could do one on the Rotolo brothers, Rodriguez brothers, Mendes brothers. Just let me know down in the comments down below. We're going to continue on to, create videos like this, and, check out our Discord down below. We're going to have it, and also Instagram on BJJ University. Check that out as well. Now, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Love you guys. We out. Peace.